Beep, beep, beep. Right, okay, two things coming up. There's an announcement on the Court of the EDI Jester. So the first one is it's the LGBT Alliance Conference and Shindig coming up very shortly. I, of course, shall be there at some point. I don't know if there's karaoke. If there ain't karaoke, I'm going to be mad as all hell. Right? If there ain't karaoke, I'm going to do a Veruca Salt. I want it now. Right, so that's the LGBT Alliance, right? Then we've got the Battle of Ideas in London. I shall be at a balloon event on Saturday, right? Which is where you say your piece and then they vote you off, the public. So it's about what novel to film adaptation is the best. Should be interesting. I'm up against a few of the academics. God help me. Right, okay. At least I'm punching up. Right, okay. So, So, all right. Come and see me for the Battle of Ideas. Saturday, one of the last sessions Saturday. They always put me on the Twilight Zone. I'm like some sort of, mad uncle they keep in the back room for special occasions. Well, he's over there, is he? So I've got something from, and I thought this was, because I've made those announcements, this was apt, because I met first this lovely, lovely woman, first at the Battle of Ideas, and it's a woman called Ella Whelan. Now, you may or may not be familiar with Ellen, and she's great, Ella. I love her a bit, she's fabulous, right? Because Ella will be there this weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing her. So Ella Whelan has written an article that is available in the Old Telegraph. Links in the doobers for you as usual. A conversion therapy ban would be a disaster for free speech. Now I'm going to say the word conversion therapy, and then I'm going to say the word conversion therapy again. And then I'm going to put the word conversion therapy in the title of the YouTube, and you tell me whether or not Planned Parenthood felt a slight pricking of their thumb as Mr. Wicked came along, right? And they'll put underneath, conversion therapy isn't a bit, I always get, So tell me, have I got a Planned Parenthood thing going on under the YouTube? It usually happens when I say the words conversion therapy over and over again, all right? It's time all politicians stopped using LGBT people as a stage army. Ella continues from the 19th of October. If you ever wanted proof of LGBT issues being used as a political football, look no further than the interminable row over a proposed conversion therapy bill. Conservative politicians have taken so many U-turns on the issue, their heads must be in a spin. The latest news is that Rishi Sunak allegedly plans to back a ban on the practice, including the proposed bill in November's King's Speech. So it's back again. It keeps going like some zombie, right? Like someone out of the Reanimator or Dawn of the Dead. It keeps rising, doesn't it? And wandering towards the legislature. Should make a film of it. Zombie, Laws of the Dead. Sunak's about-face seems odd, given his comments on people being bullied into believing that people can be any sex they want to be at a conference earlier this month. Who's pulling the chain? Perhaps Labour Deputy Leader Angela Rayner's speech at the Pink Prick News Awards last night is what tipped the Prime Minister back in favour of the ban. Rayner criticised Suella Braverman's comments that migrants were falsely claiming to be gay as dangerous rhetoric. It's not dangerous, it's true. Arguing that the government was pitting people against each other in a bid to win votes. No, Rayner. It's the other way round. It's Labour that's doing that. The term conversion therapy often conjures up extreme scenarios of abusive and coercive behaviour. There are a few people who believe that someone should be forced to be something they are not. It is cruel and unjust to deny someone the right to live and love as they see fit. Great, good stuff, Ella. I love it, except it wasn't because I saw fit. I'm gay. All right? For future reference. The life I've had, wouldn't change it, because obviously it's got me here. But, in retrospect, if I was the one going, what should we make it? I wouldn't have done it to me. I'd do it to anybody. It's not easy. The problem is that what's classed as conversion therapy can be extremely broad, continues Ella. Covering conversations with therapists, priests, and even parents, the kind of brutality described by proponents of a ban is already illegal. But if a child asserts their desire to transition, and their mother tries to talk them out of it, could their mum be prosecuted under any future bill? The answer to that question is yes. We know because we've seen it in Canada. We've seen what happens when you give these people an inch. Like all things related to the debate about gender ideology, there seems to be no way to satisfy all parties. No, there isn't. That's because one of them isn't a party. They're an uninvited guest to the party. On the one hand, the government's previous position of a ban without including trans people to protect gender clinicians who feared prosecution when discussing with their patients was labelled a loophole to allow hatred by many activists. On the other hand, a law which protects gay but not trans individuals seems unfair. No, it doesn't. One's real, the other's not. Ella, we shall have words at the weekend. No, we shan't. Oh, Ella, no, for God's sake. Rayner and other supporters of a total ban might score cheap points when criticising dangerous rhetoric in this debate, but the real danger lies in a ham-fisted attempt by parties to use the issue of gender ideology and equality rights as a means to win votes, which is what Sunak's doing. He thinks it'll win him votes. While the Labour Party can't decide whether it wants to lose women's votes by denying their existence or win them back by pretending to know who has a penis, the Conservatives are split down the middle on the issue. The SNP, previously the go-to party for all extremes of gender ideology, is now threatening to scrap plans to ban conversion therapy. It's an absolute mess, Ella. It's absolutely a disaster zone on all scales, all right? We don't need a conversion therapy bill, all right? There you are, I said it. Your mother sews socks in hell, Karis. We don't need a conversion therapy bill, all right? Whether you're for a ban or against it, it's hard to know what politicians actually believe and what they think you want to hear, says Ella. We need to think very carefully about how to approach an issue like conversion therapy. We could start by asking what it really means. Should it be as serious as a prolonged period of abuse or just an unsolicited lecture from a priest? A blanket ban could threaten both freedom of speech and freedom of conscience. A tolerant society should afford the same rights to gay people and their religious critics. Over himself, over his own body and mind, the individual is sovereign, wrote John Stuart Mills in 1859. We need to have an open debate about the tension between protecting vulnerable individuals and the freedom of citizens to talk about contentious issues. It's time all politicians stop using LGBT people as a stage army. I agree, Ella, although, bit of feedback, love. Bit of feedback. Stop calling it LGBT. Separate it out, please. Because the T's got nothing to do with the LGBT. All right? That's the first thing I would say. Separate it out. We don't need a conversion therapy bill. What we need is a bill that bans the teaching of gender identity ideology and any other postmodern drivel from schools and universities. That's what we need. What we need is a bill that stops the NHS from setting up affinity groups based on immutable characteristics so they can cause trouble in the system. And what we need is a massive education campaign for companies and particularly for SMEs, because they're going after the SMEs now. I'm saying about this, and, people take notice. As I was told by somebody the other day, in Manchester, they're going after the SMEs. They want to get the small guys involved. That's the backbone of Britain, by the way. Right? Massive public education campaign like the AIDS campaign. Gender identity ideology. Boom. Don't sterilise a child out of ignorance. That'll do it. Maybe I will do it. Why don't I try and put one together? Can you imagine? My dreadful video skills. Me trying to put together. Do you know I might do it? That's two I've got to do. Now, what was what I said I had to do the other day? Oh, that's something about lunatic academics. I need to think about that. My video skills are too bad. That's the problem. But I'd have to pick different pictures and different bits of music. And why didn't I do it? Yeah. Gender identity ideology. Don't sterilise a child through ignorance. It would have to have the right music. What music? La 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 la. Don't think it. La la la. What about yours? Da da. Like, the gender identity fin comes at that might be good, mightn't it? Don't you think? He says. Anyway, go do what you got to do. Ella, I'm coming for you. I'll see you at the weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks so much for listening, folks. Subscribe, share, do the usual. I'll catch up with you soon.